Hello and welcome to my video on how to use Miro, visual facilitation, and game storming to make meetings more fun. So currently we are in a platform called Miro. Miro is a wonderful platform used for collaborative exercises or kind of mind mapping, and in this case we're using it to do something called game storming. Game storming is a way of working through frameworks or game boards, also known as canvases, that allow groups of people to come together, or even individuals, to map out their thinking so they can start to refine and clarify what they're thinking as they move through different kinds of processes. There's all sorts of kinds of different games used in game storming. There's games for opening, games for closing, games for bringing clarity or making decisions. So let's walk you through a sort of intro to game storming and visual facilitation. So visual facilitation is the use of visuals and visual processes to help with facilitating groups through an experience. So imagining that we're coming into a real workshop, we are going to look at this pre-work. So we're using a framework, a game framework from game storming called trading cards. So trading cards would be something that we would do as an icebreaker. So the group would do it together. I would assign this, so everyone would come in, they would make a trading card, and in this case, they're putting it on the map. So it's not so much the putting it on the map that's important, as it is the idea that you're, one, giving people things to talk about, but you're also allowing them to practice everything that they would need to do in Miro. So you can see as we zoom in all the way down, there's me. So I had to draw a picture, so I'm practicing drawing. I also had to put it on the map, and then I had to put an arrow with it. So all of these pieces are competencies of skills I might need to use during game storming and while using Miro. I've also created so these are all movable. I'd moved something down by accident. I've created a guideline for our video. So this is on timeline. This is instead of putting a classic slide with an agenda. So we've got the intro to Miro. So I'm going to say, you know what? We have done this. Great. We've talked about visual facilitation. Awesome. We're getting into what game storming is, and we'll come back to that later. So that'll be something that we do the whole time. Why do you want to game storm? I hope that this is a question that you have as we move through the rest of the video. But essentially, it's a very fun way to level the room. By leveling the room, I mean it's a way to get ideas and collaboration and input from everybody in the group. So it makes people happy. It's also great for developing better teams. When we look at the rest of the video, it's going to be this part here. Show me how it's done. So as I'm also teaching you Miro, I can say I wanted to take this away. I now just erase it. So it's very functional and in many ways more functional than using paper and pen. So when we look at some references for the video, a lot of the frameworks and the structures are taken from a system and a book called Game Storming. Game Storming was written by 3 game stormers, but you'll notice if you look into the book that they don't own the games. The games come, sometimes by legend, sometimes by people sharing them. Sometimes nobody even knows who the author is. But the idea behind it is creating a community where people can share these frameworks as to how they're going to move through games. So if you were coming through to this workshop, I would have you read the ground rules. You would look, this would help you. So this is a way to both inspire drawing, but also to inspire people to set their room up so that before they come into a virtual workshop, and they're going to be doing some visual facilitation, if we were in a place, I could give you pens and paper, but you have to do it from home. So this is a great drawing by Dave Mastronardi, a master game stormer, and it kind of just tells people how to set it up. We've got, the parking lot. This would be places during game storming. You have a parking lot that shows people, hey, this is when we have a great idea that doesn't belong with what we're discussing, let's put it in the parking lot. So in this case, I had great ideas like, what other lessons should I build? I have an idea for a video lesson. What if I wanted to do a collaborative leadership game video? Those are all great ideas. They can go to the parking lot. Then we get into expectations. We would all be posting sticky notes if this were something we were doing, but it's not. So I'm going to get rid of those and go back to our expectations. So we can see that I have put these up here for us. So what are my expectations for the video? Learners glean how helpful gamestorming is for group work. That learners see the power of visual thinking, and people can learn how cool visual facilitation is. So these are some of the hopes that I have with this video, but if we were doing it for a meeting, people would be able to see, here's the hopes. Then we get into the actual meeting. So we can see here that, this is the agenda. This is the agenda for this meeting. So we've gone through the trading card, we might go to this framework here, the shape of your story. So by using this board, I would ask people to, say, what was hard? What was neutral? What was easy? What was great? And tell me a story of the last year. Tell me the story of the last 6 months of COVID. Tell me the story of your life. And put it in this and, go through it. You might even say, tell me the story of this project or your experience with something. So now we've kind of gone through the shape of your story. So instead of kind of just going into breakout rooms and repeating information, we're really eliciting people to participate. So in something like this, Draw Your Journey, we're asking people, who, what, where, when, post some sticky notes up there. Tell us what's happening. Get in there with a pen and say, there was a lake here. I got stuck. Maybe the sun was really bright. And the sun is really, the pressure to have to succeed. So we start to get people to use storytelling as a way to share with others. Then we could get into the assets and obstacles. So we might add in things that are working, things that are challenging about a certain topic. We've got a place where people could put questions. And I hope as we have come to the end of the video, you can see why using Miro, visual facilitation, and gamestorming would make meetings more fun.